she knows me so well. And I was like, oh. So yes, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Love it, absolutely love it. So, right, let me grab my flip chart and then we can begin this training call tonight because I'm ready and we've got some really juicy stuff. Those of you who've been joining the calls, just quickly whilst I grab the flip chart, actually it would really help me, for those of you who are on the call, who has been joining us for the calls, the last couple of calls that we did this week on New Year's Eve and I think the 30th as well. So I'm going to recap a couple of the bits that we shared there, but me. Okay, a few of you. I love it. I've joined some. I have to. Oh, I love that you're coming back. That's really good. I hope that you're enjoying, obviously, what we're sharing. This is my first time. I've joined all of them since Agatha. Love it. Who else is it your first time? Just while I grab the flip chart, that would be really helpful. Who else is it your first time? My first time for me. Oh, I love it. First time. Good. We're about to pop your Q&A call. I'm not going to finish that sentence. This is your first Q&A call, which is fabulous. We have got so much to do this evening. My first time too. I'll be first on Facebook. It will be live on Facebook. Brilliant. First time. Amazing. Welcome. Sorry for the unprofessional way of starting my live Q&A call. I promise I do. So I was going to say this isn't how I usually roll, but sometimes it just is. I live in the real world like you and have little boys. So thank you, Sis Susan. We'll get going. Let's get going, shall we? Let's begin our class this evening. So what are we doing tonight? I've been on a mission for the last few months. Some of you might know who do know a little bit about me or EAM. I've been on a mission over from April until August last year, writing what can only be described as the textbook on how to change your life. For those of you who haven't got it yet, please go and get this. It came out on Amazon just at the beginning of December. And it's 20 years worth of work all rammed into one book, but there's actually like another 15 books that I want to actually write. But this was the beginner's book, which ended up being 400 pages long. Now, what it's really helped me to do is to get really clear on so many of the things that I just want to share. And that was the big reason for writing the book, because I'm on a massive mission to share EAM, or to share with as many people as humanly possible how easy it is to change your life when you work with shifting your energy. And that is exactly what I want to be sharing with you tonight, and on all of these calls, and on anything else that the next steps that you take with us within EAM or around EAM or coming to the events or any of those things. I really am on a massive mission to help people change their lives. And now that I've managed to condense all of the craziness, it's not crazy, but just 20 years worth of work into something that's kind of tangible and step by step. I'm really enjoying getting back to the thing that I truly love, which is teaching and sharing. So that's why I'm on a bit of a mission with all of these calls, because actually I really love sharing them, and I love seeing the aha moments that come as we start doing this and piecing bits of the puzzle together for you. So this evening, and like I said, like the beginning of this year particularly, so many people are, it's what, the 4th of January? I feel like we're about a month in already, but it's only the 4th of January. And this time of year, everybody's setting their intentions for the year ahead. They're looking back at what they did in 2018 and what went really well and what didn't go so well, and the things that they'd like to do differently in 2019, which is why we've been running so many of these calls this week, because I want to help you start thinking about planning your life, not just 2019, but the way that you create your life, the way that you shape your life, the way you go about changing your life in a totally different way. Because over 20 years, and particularly the last 10 years I've been coaching people, so many people I meet are doing it. They're doing it, they want to do it, they go on a mission to start doing it, but they end up doing it in a really old paradigm, hard work, making it more difficult, pushing kind of way. And what ends up happening is people end up giving up on themselves. They give up on their vision. They give up on changing their life. They give up on the things that they're passionate about or inspired by. And it's not because they're not supposed to do it. It's just because they've been approaching it in completely the wrong way to create the changes that they actually want. So, of course, this evening tonight, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can use EAM, the energy alignment method, to really help you change your life. And this is just a tiny, tiny peek of what we're going to be sharing at our upcoming event. So for those of you who haven't seen yet, and for those of you it's your first time here, and those of you that have been on the calls will definitely have heard me talking about this. But because I've spent so long pulling all of this together, what we're actually creating is a brand new 3-day event. And this is content I've never shared anywhere before. And it's coming up on the 18th, 19th and 20th of January in London. It's called the Ultimate Self-Help Live, and you can find out more. Do you know what? I was really organised tonight. So this is organised. If you want to find out more, you can pop along to ultimateselfhelplive.com, or if you're watching on Facebook, on our Facebook page, just type this in and some magic fairies will send you something so that you can find out more. But if really, for me, the reason we've recreated this event is because there's so much new stuff that hasn't even made it to the book that I'm so excited about sharing, because it's exactly what I've just said. It's going to be a whole new way of looking at how to change your life, and every single event is completely different. But I just want to give you a tiny taster of just some of the things that we're going to be doing together over the 3 days. So if you don't know me, and if this is your first time here, it's probably a good idea that I explain a little bit about me. So if you don't know me, my name's Yvette, and I am the creator of EAM, the Energy Alignment Method. And EAM is actually now a recognised complementary therapy internationally, which we only just got just before Christmas, which is really exciting. In fact, it's very organised of me. We've got our recognition certificate literally just before Christmas, which is amazing. And that's, 3.5, nearly 4 years of work has gone into that. But the energy alignment method for me is based on nearly 20 years worth of work as being an energy healer, acupuncturist, working with people, running my own wellbeing centre, coaching thousands of people. And for me, what was always such a challenge as I was going on my journey was everything I was reading, every self-help book I was reading, every course I went on, all of the training modalities I was teaching, what they didn't really seem to talk about was the one consistent underlying thing that goes across every single self-help forum that you can think about. And underneath everything, whether you're thinking of NLP or positive psychology or mindfulness or meditation or acupuncture or reflexology or Reiki or EFT or CBT or any of the other 3 name-letter acronyms that are out there, what each and every single one of them is doing is changing and redirecting energy. And the one true fundamental thing is that unless or until we remember that we are made of energy and know how to redirect our own energy, all of the different practices that you find in the world aren't going to create the long-lasting shifts that you really want unless or until you address the energy piece first. And that, for me, was probably part of the thing that sent me on my journey to try and figure out exactly what is this stuff, what is this thing, how does it work, how do we use it? And from my own journey of trying to figure this out, and from obviously a lot of the practices I've done over the years, it is all down to energy. And some of what I want to talk to you about tonight is understanding that everything in your life is energy, and you are energetic, and everything, which means that everything in your life can be changed. Now, I believe that no matter what has happened in your past, no matter where you've been in your life, no matter what's happened to you, no matter the journey you've been on, the experiences you've had, everything can be shifted. Everything can be changed simply by changing your energy. And it's not, you know, just some theory that would be nice. I've actually seen this happen time and time and time and time and time and time again. For so many people, even with health challenges they might have had, things that doctors have perhaps given up on them, people who've been stuck on medication for years. Once we start addressing the energy things that are going on behind it, and that's not just with practical things, you know, relationship issues that people have had, all sorts of things that have had going on, once we start addressing it energetically, they start to see the changes happening really quickly. Sometimes to the point of absolute disbelief. Even I've been a bit blown away, like, oh my God, did that really happen? Because we are energy beings, and once we shift the energy, our body can naturally go into that place of being able to heal. Now, my own journey through life, for those of you who have read the book, plugging the book, but for those of you who have read the book or haven't yet read the book, you'll find out a little bit more about my journey and my story. I didn't always do this work, and my journey, probably very much like yours, has been full of its own ups and downs and challenges, and pretty much most of my childhood was really the catalyst for me in going on my own self-help journey. I'm 36 and I've been doing energy work since I was 16 or 17, and that was really because, not because I ever imagined, never ever imagined that I'd be doing this work now, but because I was on my own journey of self-discovery. I wanted to find a way past the pain. I wanted to find a way past the overwhelm. I wanted to find a way past the stress. My way of getting through all of that back then was drinking, drugs, going out partying, self-harm, just finding any way to ignore the feelings I had inside that I had absolutely no way of being able to shift or let go of. I thought that that was all I had, and I thought it was the only way I could possibly live my life. And it wasn't until I discovered energy work that I realized that there were different possibilities, and that I was able to control what happened to me, and I was able to change what I felt, and I was able to change how I thought, no matter what had happened to me in the past. So for me, I know now in hindsight, that's what's put me on my big mission. If I hadn't had the journey I'd had to begin with, I never would have gone on this journey of self-discovery, of understanding energy. And I now know, of course, that that's the reason I had to have that experience, so that I could create EAM and so that we could get this work out in the world, because we've got some pretty big plans for EAM and to take this out to as many people and communities that need it as possible. So for me and for you, really, tonight on this call, my biggest mission is to show you that anything and everything is possible. The only thing that is ever standing in our way is what we think and how we feel and what's happening in our energy field. And that's exactly some of what I'm going to share with you tonight, because there are 100 things I could teach you, but we're going to recap some of the bits that, if you've been on some of the calls the last couple of times, you might hear me talk about these bits in a bit of a different way tonight. But for those of you who are new, I hope this is going to be an insightful class for you this evening. So if that makes sense to you, please feel free, just in the chat box, or if you're watching on the live stream as well, just say, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. And let me know if that sounds like fun to you, because we've got a lot of stuff to do tonight. So let's see. I can see you. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Brilliant. Ready, 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 ready for fun. Thank you. So where are we? I'm ready. So how do you know what's holding you back? For just super quickly, for those who are tuning in, this call tonight is really lots of different ways that we're going to be tuning into how you can shift and change your energy. And for those who might just be tuning in now, because I can see since I started the call, another 55 of you have shown up. So for those of you who missed my little bit at the beginning, my name's Yvette Taylor. And I'm the creator of EAM, which is a powerful self-help technique and complementary therapy, and I'm the author of this little book. And some of the content I'm sharing tonight is actually from our upcoming live event. A tiny touch on some of what we're going to be sharing at our upcoming live event, the Ultimate Self-Help Live, which you can find out about somewhere here if you're watching on Facebook or if you're joining in on the video. So what I really want to talk to you about is how you know, how on earth do you actually know what is holding you back? Now, as this is New Year and loads of people are setting new intentions, we're setting goals for what we want. Like we said at the beginning of the call, so many people are probably setting their goals to look at some of the things they want to do this year. And they're looking back at last year, the things that they tried to do, things that they didn't do very well, and the things they want to do in 2019. And what I want to share with you is a little bit of insight into what is happening in you, why it's happening, and how you can change it. So within EAM, we talk about this a lot, and I am going to get the flip chart out in a minute. We talk about these 3 flows of energy that we all have going on in our life. And everything in our life can be categorized into these 3 energy flows. And once we've got that, once we have that kind of understanding of those 3 energy states, which I'll share with you in a minute, you'll begin to see that everything around you is really just an experience of one of those 3 energy states. Now, the power of EAM is that you can actually shift and change what's happening within your energy, even if it's something that you believe or perceive is going on outside of you. Now, on the call tonight, as well as some of the teachers, we're actually going to be doing a demonstration of the 5 steps of EAM. I'm going to lead you all through a really powerful way of using the 5 steps of EAM to create a shift, because I want to make sure that you're actually going to shift some of the stuff that's standing in your way for you for 2019. So we're going to be sharing that on the call tonight. So let's begin. Enough talking, she says. Let's get the flip chart out. And let me just explain the 3 flows of energy that we have going on. Hoping you can see, the flip chart. Brilliant. So I'm going to get 3 of my pens. Those of you who do start coming on the calls, you'll get to know mine. I always get a flip chart out. So we have 3 flows of energy, and everything that happens in our life is in one of these 3 energy states. So let me draw these for you. So imagine these arrows are showing the direction of the energy, and those of you who've been on the calls with me before will definitely have heard me talk about this, because it is one of our foundational philosophies for EAM. So this energy state here is called reversed energy. This is resistant energy, and those of you who are sitting at home, you can write this down as well. Or flow. So these are the 3 energy states, and everything in our life experience is categorized into one of these 3 places. And so let me give you a little overview of what each of these 3 things look like, because you need to understand this to understand what's standing in the way of what's really holding you back. So the reversed energy state. When something is in the reversed energy state, what it means is that all of the energy, that you can imagine this ball of energy, is instead of working for you, it's working against you. If you imagine everything you want, the life you want, the future you want, the things that you're trying to create, all of the amazing things you want to manifest are over in this direction. If you have the reversed energy state going on about that particular subject, all of the energy about it is literally traveling in completely the opposite direction, as far away as possible from the things that you know that you want to manifest or create or have. So the reversed energy state shows up in many, many different ways, because it expresses in different areas of our life. But say, for example, in our life experience, you know that you've got the energy, the reversed energy state going on when you are experiencing Groundhog Day, like you're looking back at your life and thinking, oh my God, how am I in this situation again? The same kind of things happen to me. I'm just surrounded by different people. How has all of this gone on? I feel like I'm just repeating the same pattern time and time and time again. Or no matter how much you try to shift or change something, the energy of it seems to get worse. It's like the more energy you put into trying to fix it, instead of it taking you in this direction to everything you want, it takes you in the opposite direction, and everything just seems to get worse or escalate and get even bigger and more horrific. That's kind of, does everyone got a sense of the reversed energy state? Can you just give me a yes if that's yes, brilliant. Okay, so the resistant energy state shows up, and we can have that reversed energy state in every level of our experience. So it happens in our life experience. We can have it on a mental level, so it affects our thoughts, our beliefs and patterns. We can have it on an emotional level, which is usually the feelings of like paralyzing fear is a reversed energy state on an emotional level. Then we have resistance. So the resistant energy state is those times in your life. You can see here with the resistant energy, can you see that there are two arrows, one either end? So some energy is moving in the opposite direction to everything you want, and some energy is moving in the direction that you want. But what that means is that you actually end up stuck, because no energy, it's kind of this push-pull experience. Like you're like, I really want to go and do that thing. I really want to take that step forward. I know that's the direction I want to go in. And then something shows up. It's usually some internal chatter or resistance, which I will explain to you how that shows up in a minute. And it sounds like this. No, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're too busy. You're not going to be able to do that. You don't have the money in the bank. You can't do this. You're not good enough. Your boss isn't going to let you. You're not this. It's all of, does everyone recognize that? I should actually get a puppet, shouldn't I? Does everyone recognize that state? So usually the resistance that shows up is some internal thought, belief pattern that we are holding that's going on a subconscious level that we aren't even aware of. Sometimes it might have manifested into a real life experience, somebody else in our life saying that we can't do these things, but it always reflects back to something we've got going on. So the resistant energy state is like, I take a step forward and I take a step back. I take a step forward, I take a step back. It's like there's always something holding on to you. Now then we have the receptive energy state, or the inflow energy state, which you'll hear me talk about a lot. And this is the energy state that everybody wants to get into. When people talk about manifesting or the law of attraction or the state of flow, the flow state is when you are so in flow. You are moving forward, everything feels easy, you feel happy, life opportunities are working out for you, magical things happen. It's almost like the universe is there, it's got your back, and you've got magical fairies sprinkling angel dust in front of you wherever you go. Doesn't have to be any magical fairies or angel dust. But the receptive energy state, in fact, all of these energy states are not just spiritual or energetic expressions. They're actually states that can be measured scientifically. So the way that we actually measure these energy states scientifically is something known as heart rate variability. So there are some amazing people over at the Heart Math Institute who've been studying this energy state of flow for more than 40 years, and they've done incredible amounts of research into this. But the flow state is actually a physiological experience and a psychological experience. When we are in the state of flow, there are so many benefits to us individually. It means that our brain functions much more effectively. Our whole body is able to go into the energy healing state. Our heart patterns are sending out a calm wave of energy throughout the body, which means that the cells are able to regenerate themselves. The body's able to repair and heal itself. We release all of those happy hormones. We release oxytocin. We relax. We get more sexually aroused. Everything in our life feels great. So by learning, using the 5 steps of EAM, how to manage your energy state from this reversed or resistant energy state, which is out of flow, It's basically where we're experiencing stress and overwhelm. Our body is not able to heal itself. We experience all of these bad emotions or negative emotions and repetitive thoughts and things like that. By learning to consistently take ourselves out of these two energy states and put ourselves into the receptive or inflow state, we're able to start changing our life much more consistently. And I'm going to share with you a few ways that you can do that tonight. So with EAM, with the 5 steps of EAM, there are 5 steps to it, but basically step 4 of the process is designed to help release whatever is happening in your energy here. And step 5 of the process is designed to help get your energy back into this inflow state. And I'll share with you the breakdown of the 5 steps on the call tonight, and we'll do it as a little demonstration together as a group. So, where was I inspired to create EAM? That is a very good question, and I will share that with you another time, because yeah, I'll share it with you another time, or at the end of the call, Elena, I'll share it with you at the end of the call. So these 3 flows of energy influence every single area of our life. We know in lots of different ways that it shows up. It feels like it's holding you back. It's the negative thoughts and emotions we have. It's when we feel drained when we're with other people, or we feel like other people are controlling our time or our energy, whether we allow other people to take our energy or whether we allow other people to influence us. It might be, like I said, when we're repeating Groundhog Day, but generally it's those times when we feel like we're stuck. And this resistance, or these resistances, come from so many different places. It's not just generated by us in our current day-to-day life experience, but other things actually influence our energy as well. So past experiences, things that have happened to you, whether they were positive experiences or whether they were perhaps experiences that you would choose not to have. Again, we are carrying all of our experiences that we've had in our life in our energy system. We are also carrying the patterns from our ancestors. Now, I know this might sound a little bit weird or a bit woo-woo and spiritual and out there, but science has actually shown now that generational patterns, something we've been talking about in energy work and spirituality for a long time, they've actually now been able to show, they say it's through the DNA, but we know it's actually passed on energetically, some of which you might call DNA. Things that have happened in the generational history of your family. So things that happen to your grandparents, things that happen to your grandparents, are actually passed down through the generations, which means that some of the things that you're experiencing in your life, the beliefs you have, the things that are holding you back, might not even be your stuff. Some of that's, passed down verbally through the family, where, people pass on their fears and phobias and patterns and ways of behaving. But some of it is actually passed on unconsciously or energetically through the family as well. Things that happen whilst you are being a wonderful, beautiful, growing baby inside your mother's womb. When you're in the womb, the only thing you have to experience the world around you is by sensing. And you pay attention to and you take on board everything that your mum is thinking, everything she's feeling, everything she eats, every interaction she has, every belief that she has, all of the different experiences that happen in the womb. And so even before you're born, you are already experiencing life and gathering positive information and ideas, and also forming your own ways of thinking or feeling or believing in the world. Excuse me. So some of that the stuff that before you've even started your conscious awake awareness in this world, you're already carrying energy that isn't even yours and has been influenced by your mum, and who would have been doing the absolute best for you, I'm sure, I know. Learning through things that happened at a young age. So especially up to the age of 7 and 8, we are literally a giant sponge. Our brains are specifically wired to be in a hypnotic state. We are wide open. We literally absorb everything. Every thought, every feeling, every belief, every sentence, every piece of body language, things that people say, things that people don't say. And all of these shape our foundations throughout the rest of our life. The foundation for who we become is all created by the age of 7 in girls and the age of 8 in boys. And energetically, for those of you who might be familiar with energy work, all of that is the base chakra energy. So if you're familiar with chakra works, that's the energy that's developed. It's our foundation, it's our rock, it's our support, it's our security. And so some of us have had amazing experiences during that time in life, which we know have helped us develop into amazing, happy, healthy, confident people. And some people might have had experiences that have left them on shaky ground. Or then that means it impacts all the different areas of our lives as well. So we can pick up these resistances and reversals from our environment, from people around us, our physical health, conversations that we have, thoughts, beliefs, emotions, grief, loss, shock, trauma, and even the cycles of the moon and the planets that are around us as well. Now, far from wanting to make that sound like, oh my God, how am I ever going to work through this? The reason I share that with you is because actually it's good news. The one thing that keeps everything together, the one consistent thing that, actually I'll see if I can find this in the book, the one consistent thing that governs every single thing in our life experience. And for those of you who have got the book, and if you haven't got the book, please feel free to go and buy one on Amazon. You'll see here this little image here at the front. Everything in our known universe, the galaxies, the solar systems, the planets, our physical body, the cells in our body, all atoms, whether they're in us or not, particles and quarks, all of them, every single level of our life experience is all governed by one thing. And all of it is electromagnetic energy. Whether you're talking about planets out in our universe, whether you're talking about cells in our physical body, the one consistent thing that goes across all of them is that it's all electromagnetic energy. Now, if it's all electromagnetic energy, that means that we only need one way to be able to approach it, because all energy is in one of these 3 energy states. And that's exactly what EAM helps you to do. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're faced with. It doesn't matter what's showing up in your life experience. The same 5 steps will help you shift and change it no matter what's going on. Now, for those of you who registered for the call, I did say that I was going to share a tiny little bit about why this weekend, and particularly these next 6 months of your life, are actually really important from a planetary perspective. Now, I am not an astrologer, just to make that really clear, but I do know personally, I get very affected by what's happening with the moon, what's happening with the planets, even when I don't know that it's coming up. I know some people say, well, it's just your mindset, but it's not. I know that I get affected by what's happening energetically. And for all of those reasons I just shared, it's almost crazy to me to think that we wouldn't be affected by what's happening in our solar system. If our moon can pull an entire ocean and create our tide every day, that's a massive body of water. We are made of like 70–80% water. How on earth can we not be influenced by the electromagnetic pull of our moon? We know scientifically that we're influenced by solar flares, which are millions and millions and millions of miles away. They can knock out entire electrical systems or entire satellite navigation systems when there is a solar flare, a burst of electromagnetic energy. How on earth can we think that we wouldn't be influenced by those same things that are going on too? So whether it's something you really get or believe in or not, planetarily, some of you might have heard of something called Saturn, a planet called Saturn. It's a very big one in our solar system. And Saturn only makes a loop every 35 years. Now, this weekend, again, I'm not an astrologer. Any astrologers, please feel free to fill in the gaps that I've made left with this. But this weekend, there is something really special happening because we've got a lunar eclipse and Saturn is also in the vicinity at the same time that this is happening. not between us and the moon, obviously, because we'd be in big trouble, but it's in this part of the astrological chart. Now, what that means is that because Saturn is kind of, Saturn's like the grown up, it's the one that's about adulthood and growing up and being responsible, but it's also about us fulfilling our greatest personal potential. Now, some people might have heard of something that's known as Saturn returns. So around the age of 29, 30, lots of people have what's known as your Saturn return. It almost looks like a midlife crisis or a breakdown, where you look like you wreck everything and destroy everything that's going on in your life. But really what it's about is that we create this radical transformation. And right now, even if you're not 29 anymore, I know some of you on the call might be a little bit older than that, but even though you might have already had your Saturn return, and obviously it happens every 29 years, between 29 and 35 years, sorry, what you experience now is really about radical transformation. That's what Saturn's really all about. So what we're doing this weekend, and particularly what you're doing over the next 6 months of your life, is going to direct the next 35 years of your life for everybody. It's a really big, important time for everyone. So really what Saturn's about is that it's about a timely wake-up call. It's encouraging you to really step up and confront your responsibilities, because it's about, Saturn's about that kind of resilience. If you think it's got this long process, it's got this long cycle that takes 35 years, it's all about that kind of resilient energy that you can just keep on going, you just keep on going. So as well as it being there to really confront you, to really help you look at the things that are going on in your life that you really need to shift and change, it can also be a massively prosperous time for people who've already been doing the work or who are ready to really tackle those obstacles that are coming up. So I'm saying that because these next 6 months for everybody, it's really an important influence over all of us. So back to what we're talking about, the energy work. Sorry, I got sidetracked a little bit then. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because we all have these different things going on in our energy, and I want to show you how these resistances show up in our physical experience. So those of you who were on the call with me the other day will have seen me talk about this. But all of those experiences I just said, all these different ways that resistances can show up and all the different places they can come from, where they're actually held. So we are so much more than our physical body. We are this amazing electromagnetic energy structure. I haven't got time to teach you all of it tonight, but one of the main parts that we really talk about is your aura. And your aura, which you might have heard of before, your aura is actually something that can be scientifically measured up to 20 feet away from you. Now, your aura is actually your heart's electromagnetic energy frequency. Earlier, I was talking to you about the heart wave variability, but it's actually your heart energy, which can be measured up to 20 feet away from your physical body. Now, in spiritual practices, you might have heard of your aura. And your aura is basically, if you imagine in those superhero films, like your electromagnetic force field that's all around you. And that is actually made up of different layers of energy. Our physical body is actually an electromagnetic energy structure. And it's the slowest vibrating frequency, which means that we see it, we can touch it, we feel it. But just because we can see it, we seem to think that this is the only part of us that is real. Now, our energy system is much more than just what we see with our physical eyes. If you were to look at the electromagnetic energy spectrum, there's actually only a tiny, tiny piece of the entire electromagnetic energy spectrum that we can see with our physical eyes. Yet we use electromagnetic energy all the time. We know that it's there, but just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So think about things like your mobile phone or radio waves or TV signals or you know, the microwave in your kitchen, or the electromagnetic waves they have when you go and have an X-ray done. We know that these things influence and impact our lives, but we just don't see them with our physical eyes. Our physical eyes, I always say our physical eyes, these ones on your face, as opposed to your third eye, which is this one here. Just because we don't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. And the same applies to you. The same applies to your electromagnetic energy. So if you've ever had any energy healing or anything like that, usually what a healer is working on is this first level of your energy system here. So our physical body is just the slowest vibrating part of our energy. Now, there are actually 7 layers to our aura, but the only ones I want to talk to you about today are these ones, because these are what's known as your earthly energy bodies, which means they're the ones that we interact with most on a day-to-day basis. Now, those of you who've been on the call the other day might have recalled me sharing this, but this, I'm hoping, will just give you a real clear visual concept of what's going on in your energy, and why these things keep showing up and holding us back. So we've got these different layers of our energy. Now, I want you to think about all of the things that we said that can impact and influence our life. So all of the past experiences we've had, all of the, think about and imagine each one of these is a different belief. I'm not good enough, I'm not clever enough, I don't have money, I don't have time, everything around me is really bad, I'm never going to earn enough of this, you know, people aren't kind, I can't trust anybody, all of these different things that happen. So on a mental level, this is where all of our beliefs, all of our thoughts, our beliefs, all of our patterns would be held here on a mental level. So think about them. I can't even draw them. Imagine it's kind of this crazy stardust. There are so many different resistances and beliefs and things held in this level. Then I want you to think about all of the emotions you've ever experienced. Every time you felt fearful, every time you felt love, every time you've been jealous, every time you've blamed somebody, every time you've been overwhelmed, frustrated, depressed, powerlessness, when you felt excited, when you've been passionate, when you felt freedom, love, joy, all of those things are held somewhere in that level of your energy. So every single emotional experience you've ever had is held somewhere there too. Now, say for example, there is a part of you that really wants to move forward in your life. You know that you want to move forward, you want to go and create this amazing experience, there's something you want to go and do. So let's say that this is, you know, a sensation here in your heart, and you're thinking, oh, I just know that I'm meant to manifest this. I know that I'm meant to do this. And remember, we talked about this resistance that shows up, or it could even be a reversed energy. So you want to move in this direction towards the things that you want. And yet, what pops up and holds you back is one of these little things that says, oh, no, but I know when I tried to do this before, it connects into that I'm not good enough belief. And when I tried to do this before, remember how that person stood you up and held you back and screwed your life up. Oh, but if you try and do that, then it means that you're going to end up leaving that person behind. I'm not clever enough to be able to do this. And then it connects into, oh, these beliefs over here. It connects into the fear, the overwhelm, the frustration. It connects into these patterns that we've got going on over here. So all of a sudden, this wonderful, powerful intention that you had right at the beginning is suddenly connected to all of these experiences that we're already holding in our energy, that then start chirping up. This is that little monkey on your shoulder. You're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing this, these are all the things, these are all the reasons why you can't be doing this. And actually, all of these are probably absolutely nothing to do with this intention that you have, this thing that's going on inside of you, this feeling in your heart. Now, the challenge is, whilst we are holding these beliefs, whilst we are holding this stuck energy, whilst we're holding anything that's going on energetically in our etheric level, or if it's got to the point where we've actually now manifested a physical health condition, whilst we've got all of these things going on in our energy, does our overall energy system seem like it's going to be in this receptive inflow energy state, or are we in this resistant energy state, or are we in this reversed energy state? Now, whilst we have any resistance or any reversals going on in any area of our life, but in many areas of our life, the more of this we have, the harder it is for us to change our life. The more difficult it is for us to move forward and take the steps forward that we need, because the thing that's actually holding us back isn't something outside of us. It's not the people we see, it's not the beliefs that we have, it's not the situations that we create. It's because it is in us. It is us. It's what's held in our energy. It's not us, but we believe that it is. And that's why it never seems to shift, because unless or until we find a way to shift all of this energetically, emotionally, mentally, and physically, then it's going to continue to be there. So all of this stuff is, imagine, we always think about our subconscious mind. We always describe it as our subconscious mind, like it's some secret box that's hidden away here at the back of our head. This is actually our subconscious experience. So again, I know this is like might be a big concept to take on for some people, but imagine your subconscious isn't tucked away here at the back of your mind. In fact, it is displayed energetically in front of you everywhere. It's everywhere you go. Now, what that means is when you are looking forward to your future, you're looking at the things that you want in your life. Everything you look at in your future is clouded by these beliefs. Life's not good, everything's bad, people are out to get me, things are going to go wrong. Everything that you then take a step forward to do is going to be based on fear and overwhelm and mistrust and all of those different things. And so the work to do is to find the way of releasing these things systematically, working through clearing up your energy, so that as you start to move forward in your life, you're actually able to take the steps forward with ease. You've worked on releasing all of this stuff from your past, which isn't true. And most importantly, what we do with EAM is not only do we release the resistance, we actually recreate something new. So instead of just leaving this void and empty and letting go of the resistance that's there, what we actually do is redirect all of that energy and create something that we want. So we can turn it into a belief of, I am good enough, I am passionate, I am amazing, of course I can go and do all of these things, I love being happy, I enjoy freedom in my life. All of this is just, all of this is just energy. And that means that you can choose to redirect that energy and start allowing it to work for you instead of working against you. Now, hope that's made some sense. Because whatever happens, unless or until we do this work on clearing up our energy and clearing up our aura, we are carrying it with us everywhere. And it's what we experience as that feeling of heaviness or that feeling of overwhelm or feeling like we're dragging stuff with us wherever we go. And like I said, you'll see every area of your life is kind of clouded by these thoughts and beliefs and things that you hold in your energy, because they are there in your energy until we do that work. And obviously, the way to get rid of that is EAM. And obviously, you know, there are lots of other energetic practices as well, but obviously I'm teaching you the 5 steps of EAM because it covers so much. It does the release work, but also it allows you to create something new. So I'm going to share with you on the call tonight, before we wrap up this evening, I am going to talk you through the 5 steps of EAM as well. So for those who don't know what it is yet, I will share that later. But just remember right now, for those of you who are ready to change your life in 2019, I hope that's why you're here on a call at the beginning of January, looking forward to your future. This time of year, particularly with Saturn creeping up on us, this is about you really finding a way to see through the excuses you give yourself. And I'm saying that with love, and I know for some of you who've just met me like, oh my God, she's a bit harsh. But I'm saying it with love because I know how many people are stuck. Not because they can't do it, not because they don't believe in themselves, but because they're allowing themselves to be ruled by the things that are already stuck in their energy, the previous experiences they've had, the things that have held them back in their past. And I really hope that by learning how to use EAM, you can cut through the crap and just embrace the shifts and the transformation that are there and ready and possible for you, because your life is meant to be awesome. Everybody's life is everything. It's all meant to be awesome. And we're all here because we really just want to go along and enjoy the ride. So just know that it's possible, no matter where you are right now. The thing that's been holding you back is this. And the good news is it's all just energy. And I'm going to show you, if you don't know how to do it already, how you can shift and change that. So if you're bored of carrying all of the crap, does this all make sense? Just really, really, really quickly for those of you who are on here. Can you do this work on yourself? Is it possible to tilt the camera down so we can't quite see the board? Sorry, let me do some very technical jiggery-pokery here. Hold on. Brilliant. Is this all making sense? Good, 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 good. I'll do that. There you go. There you go. Is that better? You are now technically, but raises a lot of questions too. Yes, Graham, it will raise a lot of questions because there's so much for me to share, but I just wanted to give you, we do it yourself, says Ali, but mentors will show you how in the system it works. Thank you. Very informative, says Maria. Makes so much sense. So now that I'm really glad this is making sense to you. Everything we've ever experienced is somewhere here. I can see someone saying, if I've got a physical health thing, an injury and only one leg, how can I use the sway from unbalanced? You can sway sitting down. So you can sway from anywhere that's got a pivot. So you can sway from your heart, or you can sway from your hips as well. So it takes a little bit of practice. You can actually sway laying down as well, which does take a little bit. We need to lower the board. You need to lower the board. I need to raise the board. There we go. I don't want you looking down the top. Anyway, we will move on to the next bit. So I'm glad that's all making sense. We've got time for a little bit of Q&A at the end, but I've got another couple of things I want to share with you on the call tonight. So for those of you who are watching on live stream, please remember we've got even if you're joining us here on the call, we are going to be going into, Graham just said, I know that what you've just shared has raised so many questions. And it's hard to impart 20 years of work into half an hour. And that's why we take people on a journey to really being able to understand different ways that you can use this, and step by step kind of giving you pieces of the puzzle so that you can start implementing it in your life. And that's one of the ways that we're doing this. My light just went out and flashed back on. This is the third time it's happened today. This is very strange. There's some energy stuff going on. Come and join us in London at the Ultimate Self-Help Live on the 18th, 19th and 20th of January. It is going to be an epic 3 days. And it is genuinely the only self-development, personal development workshop I know where you will actually be working with a mentor. So our amazing, incredible, amazing mentoring team are actually going to be working with you in groups of 10 to 15 people. So you actually have someone with you there as a guide over the 3 days to help make sure that you're working on the things that are holding you back. So no matter what's standing in your way, you've got someone there who's going to get to know you as well as we can in 3 days, but they'll actually be there to lovingly hold your hand and gently kick your butt should it be required. But it's not one of those things, you know, those events where you just all go and sit in rows and rows of chairs and listen to me talk for 3 days, although I do like to talk a little bit, but it really is all about doing the work. So for me, we're also going to be beginning, not for me, for you, but for me, I want to make sure that you're really kicking off 2019 in an awesome way. So we've actually got 2 training calls that are happening before the live event as well, which starts next Wednesday. So it's going to be a class like this, but we're actually going to be going deep into understanding your sway, which will make more sense once you know the 5 steps of EAM, and some of the questions you can start asking yourself to start understanding how to get started with the 5 steps. So we've got 2 training classes before the event to answer the big questions. You've got pre-training videos for you to watch as well to make sure that you're up to speed and ready to go for the 3-day event. And then after the 3 days, you've got me for another 2 weeks as well, because I know what it's also like. You go to an event, you're like, yeah, I'm going to change my life. It's going to be amazing. And then you get home and life gets in the way, and you know, the cat throws up on the carpet, the kids start whatever, you go back to work, the boss is a pain in the arse, and you completely forget that you are a magical, amazing electromagnetic human being who is able to shift and change whatever you're experiencing. So we're there for another 2 weeks to help you implement after that as well. So for those of you who haven't yet, and I know some of you have already because I know you've already registered, here you are. If you're on Facebook, just type yes, I want you, SHL, or I will ask Lisa, if she's still here on the chat, to pop it in the chat for you guys, for those of you here, if you want to go and get yourself booked in. But if you can't make it to the live event, we've also got a live stream, so you can tune in from home in your slippers if you really want to. It's all going to be recorded, and you will have a mentor with you available online in small groups as well. So you'll have a similar experience to being there with us for that. So next session, the next chunk that we're going to talk about, yes, yes, we are. Sorry, this is me swaying to see what, what we're going to do in the next little chunk of time. So I want to really quickly share with you how to be in charge of your life in 2019, because what I really want to get onto is actually showing you the 5 steps of EAM, which I really want you to feel it for yourselves. So for those of you who are just tuning in, my name's Yvette, and I'm the creator of EAM, which is a powerful self-help technique, and I've just written this book, and we've got an amazing event coming up in at the beginning of January, which you absolutely need to be there for, and I'll post the link for you for that later. But this is really about, and again, one of the things that you'll hear me talk about a lot is the way that people are going about changing their lives. So this is really talking about those people, and this might be you now, this might have been you at some point in your past, who end up feeling like they're a little bit lost. They know that they're living their life, like they get up every day, do the same thing, see the same people, go to work, and they feel like they're doing something towards moving their life forward. But maybe they're like, oh, I'm gonna allow myself to have a holiday this year. Or maybe their dream for this year is to buy a new car. You know, like they're not really focusing on how they want to live their entire life. Or you might have people who are the other extreme, who are wanting to change everything in their entire life, but the way that they're trying to do it is very often the wrong way round. Now, let's see if I've got this drawn out already. Hold on. As I talked about this the other day, here we are. I talked about this on our call the other day. So most people are trying to live. This is one of the. This is not a very neat drawing, but one of the models that the big model that we use within EAM, which is known as the energy evolution. So the energy evolution is actually the 10-month journey that we take people on, and it's the how to implement everything about EAM in the 10 different areas of your life that we talk about. So the neater picture looks something like this one in the book. So your soul, your life, and your work. And they're kind of the 3 core life areas that we talk about. Underneath all of those, it's broken down into smaller areas, which I don't have time to talk about today, but at our 3-day event, the whole 3 days is focused around those 3 areas. We've got a day all on your soul, a day all on your life, and a day all on your work. But the thing is, most people who are going about trying to change their life are doing it the wrong way around. They think that something along the lines, and please write a big fat yes in the box. Yes, that was me, if this resonates. It's like, if I can just work my arse off as much as humanly possible, I am going to do everything I can to earn so much money. And then when I've got the money, then I will be able to buy the house that I want. I will be able to have time to be with my partner. I will be able to go on the holidays that I want to, be able to go and travel the world. And then when I've got even more money and I've got all of that thing, then I will actually allow myself to eat properly, take the right exercise because I'll actually have time to do it. Then I'll find time to sit down and read and relax and look at my meditation and my spiritual practice, and I'll actually have time for me. Work, money, life, relationships, holidays, and then I'll actually have time for me to look after my physical health, my mental well-being, and my spiritual practice. It's the complete opposite way round to the way that it needs to be. And if you look at this arrow here, I know there are quite a few arrows on here because I drew this one the other day. But if you look at the direction of that arrow here, which way is it going? When we think about our reversed, our resistant, or our receptive energy state, this is actually the reversed energy state. It's the wrong way round of actually trying to apply changing our life. There is a reason why we work in a particular order, and I haven't got time to share it with you all today, but it's based on the way that your energy is structured, the way that your aura is structured. And the way that we work is, actually, I was going to say I haven't got time to tell you today, but it begins with your soul. Most people are trying to change their life thinking that if they can solve this, then this will all become better. But actually it begins with you, your source, your connection, the part of you that makes you you, what connects you into energy, making sure that your energy structures are well formed and in flow as much as possible. It's then about making sure that your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindset is focused in the direction of the things that you want. Then it's about making sure that your emotions are actually going to start taking you in the direction that you want. They're going to support you, that you're feeling love, that you're feeling peace, that you're feeling freedom, that you're not feeling overwhelm, fear, depression, anxiety, or any of those other things. Then it's about sorting out your physical health. Once you've got all of those 4 elements of your life in flow, and what we were talking about from this picture, she says, can't find it now. And here, we've worked, once you've got all of these areas of your life in flow, you've started cleaning up what's going on in your different energy levels, then your energy is strong enough to start going back out and influencing things in your outside world, your relationships, your environment, the lifestyle that you're living. Then you're strong enough because you're coming from your center, you're coming from your core, and you can start expressing yourself in the most in-flow way through your work. Most people are trying to use their work, possibly even doing a job that they hate, to make ends meet, to find the money to do stuff. And I know for many people, in fact, almost everybody, that the most financial reward comes when you are of most service to yourself, most in flow with what makes you happy and following your passion, and most in flow with serving the world for the greater good. I don't know many people that doesn't apply to. I know that people will come up with a whole bunch of, what about Donald Trump and da 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 da. That's a whole big different other story, which we'll have for another day. But for all of those people who want to live their life in flow and don't want to screw other people over to do it, they just want the abundance to be coming to them, then this is the way to start working your life. And it comes from the inside first. Now, the reason that we do your soul, your life, then your work is because it means that there is no push. If we try to do it the other way around with our work first, it means that the only way that we do that is by pushing, by striving, by putting in the long hours, by doing the hard work, by doing the hard graft. All old paradigm ways of creating and building a life and manifesting. That's not to say that they aren't useful, but very often, if any of you saw my call on Tuesday where I talked about SMART goals and my issue with SMART goals, you'll understand why. Because most of the time people are trying to change their life from a place of push or from a place of overwhelm. So the reason why I'm sharing all of that is because all of this, if you're trying to push against changing your life in the wrong order, means that you end up creating more chaos, more push and more hard work. And very often people imagine, I drew this the other night as well. That's save paper. see my extremely technical drawing here, most people think that changing their life is like this beautiful straight line, that it just goes, you know, this nice straight upward trajectory from, oh, I was really poor and had no money, and then all of a sudden I'm a millionaire. Or very often that's why it might be seen or perceived, as you might see it on Facebook, as people share their journey. But really, the journey looks more like this kind of up and down craziness, this squiggly line. But the thing is, if we try to do it in the wrong order, then we are literally pushing against our own energy, which means that it's hard work, which means that it just ends up being a giant pain in the butt. And what ends up happening around you is you end up firefighting whatever issue then gets thrown at you next in your life experience. So you end up just fighting against the next things that are coming, rather than systematically working your way through deliberately changing each of those areas of your life. Now, yes, it might not be an overnight fix. I don't believe in overnight fixes, which is why I do not teach quick manifestation techniques, because I genuinely believe that if it's something as bloody significant as changing your life, it deserves the time, the energy, and the attention to making it happen. You've created your life over the 21 plus years that you've created your life. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to take the rest of your life to turn it around and to change it back. In fact, it's often very quick. But it does mean working through something deliberately to do it, rather than just approaching and trying to apply EAM or any other self-help methodology to the issue you're facing. So there is a specific order, there is a way in which to do it. And when you start following a systematic way to do it, you'll start to see the shifts and changes happening, because each of these areas of your life, as they come into alignment, then start to grow. They then start to expand. So more of your energy is in that inflow state, which means that more of your energy is supporting you to make the next change instead of working against you. So I hope that's making sense, because it's really about you becoming responsible for yourself and for your energy, rather than just reacting to all of the shit that life seems to be throwing at you. Sorry for anyone who's offended. I didn't warn you at the beginning. I do swear sometimes. Sorry. So there are a few things and you might want to write these down as well. And again, as you start to spend more time with us around EAM, these will start to sink in and make some more sense. But the way to change your life is really to work through things systematically. And be really deliberate about it. Look at the different areas of your life. If right now your biggest challenge is money and work, know that that's probably not the place for you to begin. You need to start with what's happening to your energy. What's going on with your thoughts and beliefs? What's going on with your mindset? How are you feeling on a day-by-day basis? Because once you can master that, you can start to approach anything that you've got going on in your life experience and deal with it from a grounded inflow place, rather than feeling like it's knocking you over every time life throws something else at you. And the reason it does knock you over is because your energy is not in a strong inflow state to begin with. So start to be responsive to the things and people around you, and you can start to align your energy before you do anything. So these are just some really simple ways to start applying EAM to your life every day. And for those of you who don't know it yet, I am going to teach you the 5 steps in a minute. We're going to move on to that because that's what I really want to share tonight. But if you're going to start doing something to change your life, use the 5 steps of EAM to get yourself in flow with what you want to do before you do it. So say, for example, you want to change your job, and you know that the job that you're in right now isn't paying you the money you want, isn't something you love, isn't something you enjoy, but you're too scared to change your job because right now it's keeping the roof over your head and it's paying the bills, and you think that you're just kind of stuck there unless or until you win the lottery or somebody in your family passes some money to you. If you were able to let go of the feelings of fear and let go of those beliefs that were dotted around that we showed, that we were talking about on the board earlier, if you were able to let go of all the beliefs that you're stuck where you are, you don't have money, there's no possibility for you to move on, just write yourself down a list of all of the beliefs that you have. Write down all of the emotions that you have around that particular situation. And then you can start applying the 5 steps of EAM to each one of those things. Once you've released all of those beliefs, once you've released the patterns, once you've released the emotions, whatever it is that's standing in your way, then you can go and start taking action towards it, because there'll be nothing in your energy anymore that's going to be contradicting what it is that you want to go and do. So it means that your energy is now in the inflow state and supporting you in the steps that you want to take as you move forward. So then you can start aligning yourself to manifesting the right job that you're going to love and you're going to enjoy, that is going to pay you more money so that you've got the freedom to go and do the things that you want. But by aligning your energy first, rather than pushing against what you're holding in your energy, you'll actually start to create changes in your life so much more quickly. Now, that was obviously just one example, but the same thing applies to whatever it is that you want to do. So I'm going to show you how to know whether or not you've got resistances, and I'll show you obviously how to follow the 5 steps of EAM to do that. But align your energy before you do anything, and you'll start to see magic happening. The right job will show up, the right person will show up, the right opportunities will present themselves, the right people will land in your life. You know, the right videos will pop into your life. You'll get an email from somebody, you'll see something on Facebook, someone will send you a book, whatever it might be, something will happen to show you that this is the right direction. Hey, it could even be that you've joined this call this evening. This could be the universe pointing you in the right direction already. But there are lots of different ways to start applying this in your day-to-day life and starting to create more flow. So, like I said, if you are really ready to start creating more change in every area of your life and systematically finding out how to do this, there are lots of different ways to find out about this, but the next way that I can really support you to kickstart in 2019 is coming to join us at this live event, because we're literally going to be spending 3 days looking at your soul, your life, and your work, and not just talking about it. We're going to be doing the energy work whilst we're there to actually start bringing each of these areas of your life into flow. It's going to be the beginning of the journey, but it's going to give you some really good ideas, understanding, and work that you can go away and start implementing for yourself after, to start changing these different areas of your life so that you can create a life that's more loving, more connected, where you feel free, where you just feel that sense of peace or that sense of purpose in everything that you're doing. And even whilst the rest of your life might look a little bit crazy or chaotic, you are coming from that place of alignment. You're coming from that place of flow or that inflow state, which means more magical things start to kind of come your way. So if you want to come and find out more about that, in fact, I am just going to pop this in the chat for those of you who haven't seen it yet, unless Lisa is there. I don't know if you are there, sweetheart. In the chat. Yeah, there we go. There's the link to come and join us for the event. But like I said, you can join us on live stream or from home. But over the 3 days, we're going to be looking at your soul piece. So we're going to be working on self-sabotage, your beliefs, your emotions, all of those things, so that you can start to get clarity and align your energy and get out of your own way. Day 2 is all focused on your life, where we're going to be looking at letting go of other people in our life experiences or other people that try to rule our lives, and the energetic exchanges that we have in some of our relationships that can really stop us from moving forward, so that you can have more time, more money, more love, more freedom and support, and most importantly, create a much better connection to yourself. And then day 3 is all about stopping wasting your time and learning how to manifest money and create the life you want without loads of effort. And I'm not one of those people that's like, just sit on a cushion and meditate and everything you want will come to you. I'm a firm believer in taking action, but it's about that taking aligned action where you are actually moving forward to the things that you want. So day 3 is really about you getting clarity on your dreams, about you discovering your passion and your purpose, and getting to be really clear about what you want your next steps to be in life, where you're going to go and when. So hopefully that sounds exciting to you, and something that you want to do. I'm not going to explain those bits today. I will talk about those on another call. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. But what I want to do is, what I really want to share with you is actually show you the 5 steps of the EAM. We're going to do this together live on the call, which is what we're going to share now. So I know, just see if I think some people are still tuning in and jumping out. Do you need to know where the belief or habit comes from to be able to release them? Yeah, so that's some of the yes and no. Some of the power of the sway helps you. That's the purpose of which will all make sense to those of you who haven't discovered the 5 steps of the EAM yet. In a minute when I show you. The power of the sway helps you to identify exactly what it is that's going on in your energy. So where we've got all of this stuff that we're carrying in our energy, what the sway enables us to do, the questions that we ask, which I will show you in a moment for those of you who don't know, means that we can ask where that thing came from, or when it began, or how it started. And by doing that, we actually tap into this, might be the start point of it all that created this connection to all of those things. And by using the sway, we identify that it was that one thing. And by letting go of that, it disconnects all of these other things, and we let go of all of those other bits as well. So yes, you can use the sway to help you. And that's one of the things that makes EAM so powerful, is that we're not guessing at what's standing in our way, because we can use the sway to get clarity on what the resistance actually is. However, if you can't get clarity on what the resistance is with the sway, it doesn't stop it from working. So that might make a bit more sense after I've shared the 5 steps with you, for those of you who are new. But that was a question on there from, that was a question on there from Camellia. So I will do some Q&A questions at the end. How long is each day for the 3-day course? So the days begin at 9, and we're going to finish around 6 or 7 o'clock on each day, depending on what we're doing. But if you need to jump out early, or you've got to leave early for childcare and stuff like that, that's fine. It's all being recorded, so you can catch up after as well. So let me move on to this last little session, how to consistently work on what's going on for you. And I want to share with you the 5 steps. So one of the biggest challenges, and there are lots of them, I suppose, for people, is actually being able to put this into practice every day. And the easiest way that I can share with you on how to do that is by just paying attention to what's going on in your energy moment by moment. Now, I know that seems like a really big ask, because we have so many things going on in our life experience all the time. But I know that everybody has the best intentions to change their life. And whichever book or program or detox book or whatever it is that you're going to pick up to go and change your life in 2019, or any time that you've done it in the past, everything that we are trying to do is all, as I shared at the beginning of the call, always about energy. It's all about shifting and changing our energy, our thoughts, and our emotions. And until we can learn to shift and change our energy, thoughts, and our emotions, all of the self-help books out there, all of the diets that we want, all of the yoga practices that we want, all of the meditations that we want to go and do, all of them aren't going to create the shifts that we want them to unless we can redirect our energy, learn how to manage what we're thinking, and pay attention to what we're feeling. And that's exactly what you can do with EAM, because it works on every single level of your current life experience. So everything we experience in life is energy. Every thought is an energy. Every person or situation we come into contact with is an energy source. Our interaction between them, there is an energetic exchange. Every emotion we experience is a flow of energy. And all of these are just energies in those 3 energy states that we were talking about earlier. The reversed state, the resistant state, or the receptive state. everything in our life is in one of those 3 different places. Now, with EAM, there are lots of different ways that you can apply these 5 steps depending on what you're working on. So what I want to show you tonight is how you can use it and how to pay attention to what's going on and how you can use your emotions as your guidance system. So the magic really, the real magic of EAM, as much as we share how to approach this in a step-by-step way in our 10-month program, the energy evolution that I was talking to you about earlier, the magic of that, even for people who are going through the program, is really about you paying attention to what is happening in your energy on a day-by-day basis. No program in the world could ever foresee every thought, every belief, every experience you're ever going to have, every pattern, every emotion, how you're feeling when you get up in the bed, how you're feeling when you go in the car, how you're feeling when the kids arrive home from school, how you're feeling when you get in bed at the end of the night. Like, nobody could ever predict your day. You can't even predict your day. I can't even predict my day. So the way to use EAM for you is to be aware, is to pay attention to what is happening in your energy moment by moment, day by day. And the way that you do that is by noticing what you're thinking, by paying attention to how you're feeling, and knowing whether what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and how your energy is vibrating. And what I mean by that is paying attention to what happened in your energy, whether or not that's helping you, or whether or not whether it's helping you move forward to the things that you want, or whether your energy state is holding you back. Now, that seems like a really big ask. And for a lot of people, I know that it could be. But the easiest way to pay attention to what's happening with your energy is by paying attention to how you feel. It's by paying attention to your emotions. Again, something that we spend a much longer time talking about usually, but your emotions are your guidance system. Your emotions are telling you whether or not your energy is in this reversed state, the resistance state, or in the receptive energy state. And as you start to become familiar with paying attention to how you're feeling, you'll notice that if you think about, the feeling of love, when you are staring into the eyes of your little baby or staring into the eyes of someone you absolutely love and adore, how do you feel? What happened to your energy? Are you shut off and closed down and holding yourself back? Or do you feel like just so in tune with life? Does it feel like everything is glaring, beautiful sunshine around you? Do you feel open and expansive? On the same side, on the flip side, when you're in that place of fear, when you're feeling so depressed or overwhelmed, when you're so stuck and feel as if life is never ever going to change and you're just never going to let go of what you're feeling, you're in that reversed energy state. And that's what it feels like. It feels like everything's hard work. It feels like you're not going to be able to move forward. It feels like everything's always going to stay the same. And so by paying attention to how we feel is the easiest and quickest indicator for what is happening in your energy. So one of the ways that we do that within EAM, again, a really big topic, is by using our emotional scale. And for those of you who are familiar with EAM, you definitely would have seen how we use this. And I'm going to show you how to use this tonight. Introduce the 5 steps, she says. I'm trying to find a big picture of it for you. Here we go. In the book. So, I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can see this. So down here at the bottom of the emotional scale, we have emotions like fear and powerlessness and guilt and depression. They're low vibrational emotions. And you can see that they're low vibration, obviously, because they are at the bottom of the chart. But as over here, it's a slow. So the further towards the bottom and the further towards the left, this line, that is the left. I'm not sure if that's your left or right, the right way around. but the slower and lower the heavier the energies. As you start to move up the scale, so this is like the most reversed emotion. As you start to move up the scale, these are all like varying degrees of resistance. Even once we get here into some of the positive ones, these are still a content or calm emotion is more resistance than love, if that makes sense. And then the further up the scale we go, the more inflow the energy becomes. So it's like a sliding frequency. It's not either in one state or the other. Fear is the most reversed, love is the most inflow, and everything else is a variation of in or out of flow energy, somewhere in between. So the way that we use this within EAM is to actually ask ourselves which emotion you're feeling when you think about a particular situation. Because sometimes we are so disconnected from the way that we actually feel, we don't even know what we're experiencing. So say, for example, you're thinking about a situation in your life, someone's upset you or hurt you. And on the outside, you might be like, oh my God, I'm just so angry with them. I'm really angry. Like, why did they do that? Why did they say that? Why have they been behaving that way? And if you weren't using EAM, you might have tried other methods or other ways of releasing this anger. You know, it might be punching it out in a pillow or, I don't know, whatever other method you might have tried to release the anger before. But if the issue that's actually going on for you, that's actually held in your energy, if you just consciously use your understanding and think, yeah, I'm angry, you're trying to work on something that isn't the actual issue. So say, for example, you're like, oh, I'm ready to release this anger, but this issue that you've actually got here is the thing that's actually in your energy that's standing in your way. And if that's not actually anger, no matter how many times you try to work on releasing the anger, if anger isn't the actual emotion that's causing the issue, it's not going to work. So the beauty of EAM is that we can actually tap into our energy. We can tap into our body and ask really simple yes or no questions to discover what the emotion is that we're actually feeling that's actually stopping us from moving forward. So by using this emotional scale, which I'll give you an example of, we're going to do this together now, you can actually ask this way. You can ask your body, am I feeling angry? And it might say no. So am I feeling bored? Am I pissed off? Am I overwhelmed? Am I frustrated? So you might get a yes. Well, this will all make so much more sense in a minute when I talk you through the 5 steps. But your body might then say, yes, actually, you're frustrated. You're not angry. You're actually really frustrated with the situation. So what this means is then when you actually go in to do the transformation work with EAM, you're actually releasing the thing that's really the issue, which here was actually the emotion of frustration, not the emotion of anger. So the easiest way for you to start changing your life is by paying attention to how you feel, using the 5 steps that I'm about to show you, and applying them to the emotions that you're experiencing by paying attention to what's going on in your energy. Now, there are lots of different ways to apply the 5 steps of EAM. The one that I want to show you today is this way, where I'm going to talk you through how to use it by using your emotions. Okay, so paying attention to your emotions. So we're going to do this together as an exercise. So that means you need to participate. Okay, so what that means is standing up. And for those of you who are familiar with EAM, this is going to seem really slow because I'm going to take you through it step by step. But as you actually learn the 5 steps, you'll be doing this in like less than a minute, but it's going to take a little bit of time for me to walk you through this because it's a demonstration. And obviously not everyone's done this with us before. So I want you to stand up for me and I want you to close your eyes. That's interesting. Am I still online? That is the big question. That's good. We are about to create some big energy here. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh dear, what what's going on? Did no one see the energy go like, poof, the lights went out and then came back on? That's really strange. Anyway, you guys are clearly very powerful, and what we're about to do is clearly powerful. So that's hilarious. Get used to it. Energy in motion. I've got goosebumps all over now. It's exciting. So are you ready? Are you actually ready for us to do this work now? So I want you to stand up with your feet hips width apart and make sure that you close your eyes, and I want you to make sure the back of your knees are relaxed. Make sure that they're not locked tight. And I'm going to slowly talk you through the 5 steps of EAM. We're going to do this together because I want you to have the experience of what this really feels like and how you can start to create these shifts for yourself. So close your eyes, and I want you to think about something that you've got going on right now that is overwhelming or frustrating you, or whatever emotion you've got going on. I'm going to list out the names of the emotions so you can actually repeat and ask this way if you've got any of those particularly going on. So just close your eyes, and I want you to think about whatever that challenge is right now. So the way that the 5 steps of EAM, the step 1 is that we're going to ask your body a question. So you might ask, you know, do I feel overwhelmed when I think about my issue at work, for example? Or you might say, do I feel resistance when I think about this issue at work? Yeah? So step 1, you'll ask the question, whatever the question is, and there are thousands of questions you can ask at step 1. So ask that question, do I feel resistant when I think about, and then insert your thing. Close your eyes, make sure the back of your knees are relaxed and your hips are loose. And I want you to notice whether your body sways, and I'm going to show you, I'll demonstrate. So whether your body sways forwards or whether your body sways backwards when you ask that question. Now, usually a sway forwards is a yes, and usually a sway backwards is a no. Now, I say usually because when we've got one of these reversed energy state things going on, it can be really difficult for us to actually get clarity on what's going on with our energy, because the sway gives us some funny answers. So let's assume that it's all working the right way around. And again, it's more than I can teach you today. But let's assume that you've got this yes. Yes, this is the right way. I am feeling resistant to whatever's showing up in my life. So just close your eyes for me. Take a nice deep breath. Put your arms down by your side. Make sure your hands aren't crossed over or tied behind your back. Your arms nice and loose, your hands by your side. Relax the back of your knees. And step 1 is to ask the question, do I feel resistant when I think about, and then name that thing. And then you'll notice step 2 is your body will respond. And then it will give you the yes or the no. Okay, so then just give me a little message in the chat. What came up for you then? And let me know. Did you get a sway forwards? That's the big question. Yes, cool. Not moving at all, says Evelyn. So if you're not moving at all, just make sure the back of your legs are relaxed. And sometimes that can happen when people first start using EAM, that they're not actually, I'm trapped under a sleeping toddler, says Claire. So this is a good opportunity for you to learn to sway from the inside. So Claire, if you're laying down and trapped under a sleeping toddler, close your eyes, and I want you to pay attention to the energy of what's actually going on inside your heart. And I want you to notice whether you feel a push from the inside towards the front wall of your chest, or whether you feel a push towards the back wall of your chest, okay? It will be a very slight sensation, almost like a bowl of water moving, but you can feel the energy of what's moving inside. It doesn't have to be a big sway, okay? So even if you are trapped underneath a toddler. So, and you can do this sitting down as well. Big sway forward, feeling it. Yes, I do. If you're not moving at all, just follow the steps, because one of the signs that we've got resistance or reversal is that our sway doesn't actually work. And that is one of the things I'm going to be addressing on the training that we're running next Wednesday as part of the Ultimate Self-Help Live prep training, because it's one of the things that stops people getting going with EAM. So for the purpose of the demonstration, step 1, we ask the question. Step 2, our body's going to respond. Step 3 is called we experience or you experience, and there are several different ways to do step 3. The one that I want to show you today is by using this emotional scale to ask which emotion you feel about that situation. So close your eyes, I'm going to read these out for you, okay, and you can just ask the sway. So do I feel fearful is the first question to ask. Do I feel fearful when I think about work? And then you'll notice it gives you a yes or a no. And then I'm just going to run through these first few along the bottom of along the bottom until you can find an emotion that works for you. So do I feel powerless? Yes or no? Do I feel depressed? And then notice if your body gives you a sway, a yes or no. Do I feel guilty? So all I'm doing is just working up this emotional scale here. Do I feel hatred? Do I feel anger? Do I feel jealousy? Am I blaming somebody? Do I feel worried? Am I overwhelmed? Am I bored? And you might want to add some others like, am I frustrated? Or you might want to be a little bit more elegant. Am I pissed off? Whatever wording works for you, this is all about just connecting into what is this resistance that's held in your energy. So find the right words that work for you. So see which one of those, if any, show up as the right word. So you might have got 2 or 3. So it might have said, yes, I feel powerless. Yes, I feel guilty. And yes, I feel frustrated. So you can then go in and work on each one of those things individually. Says Louise, yeah, I just answered yes to a few. So what if I get all of those emotions for one issue? So Anita, what you've just described is all of those emotions for one issue, is exactly what we were talking about here. One issue is connected to this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And that's why we need to do the work, because every time you think about this thing, you are firing off all of these different emotions every single time you think about it, which take you into the out of flow state. So that's why we do the work. So again, there are lots of different ways that you can work with EAM, and I don't want to complicate this for you tonight, especially for those of you who are just starting out with this. So let's now, we've identified, yes, I am feeling one of those particular emotions. So let's say it was powerless or overwhelmed. Let's work on overwhelm. So whatever your emotion was that you had a yes to, just pick one of them. And then we're going to move on to step 4 of the process. So step 4 is called you transform. And this is where we actually release the reverse energy or release this resistant energy. So step 4, I want you to close your eyes again, arms down by your side, and just repeat these words after me. I'm ready to release this feeling of, or this emotion of, and then name whichever emotion it was that came up for you. Powerlessness, overwhelm, fear, frustration, anger, whatever it was. When I think about, and then name your situation, I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release this emotion of, and then name whatever the emotion is. When I think about, then name the situation. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. One more time. I'm ready to release this emotion of, and then say whatever that emotion was, overwhelm, fear, powerlessness. When I think about whatever that situation is, I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Nice deep breath in and out. Okay. Now just check in with your energy. Just close your eyes and just pay attention to what you're feeling in your energy now. Does it feel any different? Or does it feel exactly the same? Just describe. Yes, you can use it towards a person, Josie. That's exactly what day 2 of the event is all about. That's a whole different concept to talk about, and another training another time. Why am I yawning? Alina, that is a very good sign, because it means that you are releasing. Yawns are a sign that you're releasing the reversed or the resistant energy. So that's one of the ways that you know that the energy is shifting. If you see me doing energy work with people, I look like a lion because I end up releasing energy on their behalf. It's just not the most, I love literally like, so yeah, yawning is a really good sign that you're shifting stuff. I have a lot of emotions. Do you release each one separately? Yes. So Tracy, you would work on releasing each one of those separately, because it means that you're systematically working on something rather than trying to group it all together, and you know that you've actually worked through it. So I've got shivers up my back, said Lucy. Brilliant. That's a sign that the energy is shifting, which is awesome. So definitely feel a shift. And Claire says, I'm boiling now. Again, all signs that you're shifting energy, which is amazing. What about tears or crying as I'm releasing? Yes, all good signs, which is amazing. So let's do this again. We'll do this again, step 4 again, really quickly. Really chilly energy shivers, says Kate. Love it. I feel like I'm swaying. I feel like I'm swaying backwards as I say it. So yes. Oh, all of this, you guys are doing brilliantly. All of that swaying backwards as you're doing the releasing the resistance. Imagine it's like being pulled out of your back. It's like coming out from behind you as well, which is good. So let's do that again, and we'll run through that a bit more quickly. So with step 4, you always make sure that you've completed step 4, meaning that you've released all of that resistance before you move on to step 5. So you might find that you have to repeat those words a few times before you move on to doing the manifesting step. So let's just, for the sake of completeness, let's just repeat step 4 again a bit more quickly. So I'm ready to release, just close your eyes again, be present. I'm ready to release this emotion of, and then say whatever the emotion is, when I think about, and then name the situation. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release this emotion of whatever it is. When I think about, name your situation. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release this emotion of, and then fill in the blank about this situation, whatever this, and name your situation. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Nice deep breath in and out. Awesome. Okay, nice deep breath. And then just pay attention again. What's going on in your energy? I know we've already had boiling and body shivers and chills and yawns and tears. It's all gone, says, oh, that's amazing. Oh, hi, Marudla. You're going to have to tell me how to pronounce your name, darling. Marudla. Marudla? Is that your name? I love that it's gone. I know we've been chatting on Facebook, so I'm really glad to see you here, darling. Thank you. It's gone. Yay. Yay, Marudla. I love that. It's beautiful. So, step 4. Have we released? Are we feeling lighter? Can you just... My heart rate seems to be going up. I feel sensations in my back and behind my belly button. Awesome. So all of these are signs of the energy shifting. All of this stuff that you've been holding here, that I didn't draw here, is all in your physical body. It's all in every level. And so these shifts, what you're experiencing, what you're describing now, this tingling in your head, this things in your body, this hands feeling cold, it's all the resistant energy shifting. And I am thrilled. I'm really excited that you're feeling this stuff shifting, because it's so quick and so powerful. Those of you who might not be feeling anything in your energy, please don't worry. It doesn't mean that it's not working. It's just as you start to use this, you'll start to become much more sensitive to the energies as well. So if you're not having these like mind-numbingly amazing body orgasms, which can happen, and actually in the book, there is a story of one of our wonderful ladies who was doing some work on her horror energy and some stuff, and she literally ended up having a full body orgasm standing in her living room without anybody touching her or doing anything vaguely sexual. It does happen. But if you're not there yet, if that's not happening to you just yet, then don't worry. It is all still working. It's still doing the work. It just means that you're not yet feeling the shifts, but it will if you keep on applying it as well. So we've done step 4. We've released the resistance. Again, you would check in with the sway to make sure you've released it all before you move on to step 5. I'm going to assume, bearing in mind what you've all been sharing with the tingles and everything, check in with the sway. Have I released this emotion of, and then name that emotion when I think about whatever. So just ask the sway again, have I released that emotion? And it should give you a sway yes forward. If you get a no, you can go back and repeat this after the exercise. So just give yourself a quick check-in. Have I released this? I'm going to assume that you have. So now what we're going to do is step 5. Step 5 is the most important step. It's called the energy alignment method because it is all about getting ourselves ready to do this step. Very often people are trying to manifest things or change their life or call something in or shift their energy or change the way they think or shift the way that they're feeling. But the reason that they haven't been able to do it is because they've been holding on to this reversed or resistant energy, which you've just let go of with step 4. That's what we've just been doing here. The power of letting go of that with step 4 before you do the manifesting means that you're not fighting against your own energy anymore. You've released this resistant energy or the reversed energy, and now that energy is kind of free floating. It's ready to be redirected into something that we want. So now what we do with step 5 is redirect that energy in the direction of everything that we want to manifest. So when you think about this situation, how do you want to feel? What do you want to think? What emotions do you want to experience? What do you want to see shift or change outside of you? Anything is possible because everything is energy. So when we do step 5, always make sure that you manifest it in the positive. Don't say, I don't want to feel unhappy anymore. You would say, I'm ready to allow myself to feel happy and expansive or whatever when I think about whatever that situation is. So you can use the emotional scale to help you if you want to, and you can choose some of these positive emotions. I want to feel happy, I want to feel excited, I want to feel love or freedom or passion, whatever that might be. So just close your eyes for me for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. And the best way for you to do step 5 is to stand with your feet hip to width apart. And I want you to stand with your hands up. Now I want you to stand with your palms. I'm just doing some sexy yoga move here. With your palms flat, ready to receive. And I want you to keep your arms up. Now the reason we do this is because it makes it easier for us to call in energy. Imagine we're calling energy in from above. And I want you to just, I'll lead you through this and we can all manifest the same thing together. Close your eyes. Make sure that your knees are relaxed. Arms up, palms facing up. I want you to say, I'm ready to allow more love, freedom, passion, and excitement into my life. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I am ready to allow more passion, love, freedom, and excitement into my life. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I am ready to allow more passion, love, freedom, and excitement into my life. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Now keep your arms up. Nice deep breath in. And some of you might notice that your arms have just become ridiculously heavy, like someone's placed a suitcase in them or something. And then I just want you to slowly bring your arms down by your side. So keep your hands palm up. Slowly bring your arms down by your side. and just allow that energy to come into you. And sometimes you might feel body shivers or goosebumps or tingling going down through your body as you do that as well. So what you've just done is allowed in those resources, those things that you're asking for from, depending where you want to go. I don't know where everyone is on their spiritual journey, but basically we're aligning to our energy. We're allowing our energy to be more in flow with the things that we're asking for. So if you felt that heaviness, I always love that part, says Vera. Throat strangling kind of feeling, said Erin. So if you've got a throat strangling kind of feeling, that means there's probably some more resistance for you to work on. So say, for example, what you were working on, the emotion was stuck somewhere else. It can move from where it was previously to somewhere else. So you would keep repeating step 4 until you know that it's shifted and you've worked on releasing that throat strangling feeling. I hope that wasn't with step 5. Wow, says Kate, just feels like a waterfall, really heavy arms, gone shivery. Always love that part. Yes. If I've had reversed energy for years, will it take time for me to clear it? No. The wonderful thing about energy is energy doesn't work on time frames. It's us who have perceptions of time. Energy is energy. And once we identify, this is the beauty of EAM, I release this from my energy in all forms, meaning all the different levels of my energy, on all the different places it might be in my energy, on all levels, different levels of your aura and your energy structure, at all points in time, means past, present, and future. So even if something happened to you in the past, if you believe in past lives, in the womb, it doesn't matter how long something's been there. As soon as we identify what it actually is by using the sway, and that's where the art of EAM comes in, understanding the right questions to ask, how to go on the journey of exploring what it is. Once you identify the right things, it's gone. It doesn't matter how long it's been there. Sometimes something might be a complicated issue where, you know, this is connected to this, to this, to this, to this, to this, and it's like a massive mishmash. So it might take us a while to discover all of the picture, but the length of time you've had something doesn't mean that it's going to take a long time to let go of, because we're working with energy. And energy doesn't care about time frame. It just cares whether it's in one of these 3 states of energy. So I was seeing colours when my eyes were closed, says Amanda. Brilliant. All of these are just signs of what you've been able to do all the time. You've always been able to align your energy. You don't need me to tell you how to do it. Maybe you do. But you've all been able to do this all the time. We're all powerful energy manifestors. We're moving energy all the time. It's just most of the time we're unconscious to it. We aren't aware that we can do this. And it doesn't matter whether we're thinking of belief, whether we're thinking about emotion, whether it's some other situation in our life or some other person that's around us. It doesn't matter. It's all just energy, and you have the power to shift and change it. We all have the power to shift and change it, even when we're having those crappy days and we think that there is nothing else in our lives that could possibly work for us in the right way. So Susan says, the energy moved from my feet to my head and a wave of energy moved up. Amazing. I had a really tough time when I was carrying my son, says Claire. So can I EAM for him? He's 3. I've got a little 4-year-old boy who absolutely loves EAM. Please teach your children how to EAM. And yes, you can do EAM on somebody else's behalf as well. I'm not going to teach you how to do that tonight. It's something we do teach inside our bigger programs. But yes, you can do work on other people, but the most important person to actually do the work for would actually be you first, Claire, because whatever you're thinking, feeling that he's been through when you were carrying him, by you doing the work on you, you actually change it for him as well anyway. So don't worry about changing it for him. First, you need to do the work on changing it for you. But if you're the Claire that I think you are, you're coming to our event in a couple of weeks. So we can definitely do some work with you on that on day 2 as well. Is it possible to release physical exhaustion? Yes. Big question to ask me at the end of the call, Amy. But it depends. So physical exhaustion is basically that you've been carrying all of this stuff for so long that it gets to the point where it almost collapses and implodes. So conditions like CFS, ME, fibromyalgia, depression, all of those things energetically And this is not me trying to demean or undermine that experience for anybody at all, but just energetically what that is that someone's been carrying something like this for such a long time that the energy structure literally cannot sustain or hold it anymore. And so it collapses in. So if somebody's gone into like long-term exhaustion or any of those health conditions, it's because their energy structures have literally collapsed under the weight of things they were carrying previously. So by doing the energy work to release those things that were going on, you start to enable the energy bodies to get themselves back into a free-flowing state. So yeah, physical exhaustion, you can do the same thing with that as well. And again, all of this, the answer is yes, basically. Can I do? Yes, because everything is energy. And that's why I want to teach you how to use EAM and all of the different ways to apply it to your life, because that's far more empowering than me giving you a massive list of, you know, do this, then don't do this, and then do this, and then do this. Although I know when you're starting out, it's helpful to have that. So Louis says, I've just released the guilt around my son's birth, plus a reversal, and I'm crying now. So heavy now, knees and ankle hurting a lot, also release that. Yes. So work on, if you do a release and you start noticing stuff coming up like knees and ankles and things like that, work on releasing that with step 4, because that's still the resistant energy and you need to get it out or transform it into something else. But well done, Louis. That is amazing. Oh my God, I love it. Is it the same process for working on physical things that you experience in the body, like anxiety that's manifested? Yes. So again, you wouldn't work with it doing emotions, but it's the same 5 steps. It's always the same 5 steps. We just have different questions that we ask and different ways that we start applying it. Is someone coming back? Oh my God, you guys, I love the questions you're asking. So Paul says, if someone keeps coming back into my energy, is it me that keeps inviting them in some way? Yes. And again, this isn't me just plugging the event. I promise this isn't me plugging the event, but we are actually going to talk about this a lot more. So the relationships bit is massive. And one of the things I absolutely bloody love talking about, because it's one of the biggest things that pull our energy all the time. So in the book, for those of you who've got it, on the event, day 2 is all about relationships, because I don't know about you, but most people I know find that the thing that takes them out of flow the most is other people in their lives. So Paul, in answer to your question, yes, you can use EAM to work on relationships with other people. And if they are pulling you back in, it's to do with the whole thing that I talk about here around the energy triangle, which we are going to be talking about at the event, because it's massive. And so many people are screwing their lives up because of the energy interactions that are happening with themselves and other people. But again, it's another webinar. There are videos about it on the Facebook page as well. If you tag me, I'll try and find you one later. The drama triangle, but if you get me talking about the drama triangle, we'll be here for another 3 hours, because I absolutely love talking about it. So all of that said, there is no secret in this. I am wanting to invite you to come and join us for the Ultimate Self-Help Live event. We are going to be covering so much over the 3 days and the 2-day trainings that we've got coming up before, which start on Wednesday the 9th. So if you really want to make the most of it, come and join us before the 9th of January. I know some people are still doing the, oh my God, my bank account is so empty after Christmas thing. You can split the payments over 3 months if you want to. Even if you can't join us in person at the Ultimate Self-Help Live event, you can go, if you're watching on Facebook, yes, right, yes, I want USHL. But if you're watching here, or you can visit www.ultimateselfhelplive.com and pop your details in. You can also register to join us for the live stream, which means that you can tune in and work with us from home. But basically, you've got me for a whole month, which might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing for some, but I'm going to be there to lovingly kick your ass. With love and peace and light and stuff, but we're going to look at how to apply the 5 steps of EAM to every single area of your life. So day 1, we're working on the self-sabotage, beliefs, emotions, helping you get clarity, all of this stuff that we've been talking about today, step by step. We've actually got workshops specifically designed to work on a whole session where we're going to do work on your self-sabotage patterns. We've got a whole session where we're going to look at that emotional scale. I'm going to show you how to really start using that in different areas of your life. We've got a whole session where we're going to be working on things like generational patterns of things that have happened throughout the family, things that happened when you were in the womb, things that are going on in your energy, things that might be happening in your chakras. We've got literally a whole day focused on the your soul element. I'm going to introduce you to different ways you can use EAM in different areas of your life. So it's like upskilling you and giving you the tools to make that happen. Then on day 2, we've got a whole day dedicated to what Paul was just talking about letting go of these unhelpful or unhealthy energy exchanges between us and other people, and allowing other things to come in and start ruling our life and changing the direction that we want to go in. Because the more we give our time and energy and attention to all of this drama that other people like to engage us in, and we allow ourselves to get engaged in, as Paul's question so rightly asked, is it me letting them in? Then the more that our life is going to get derailed and the more that we're going to get distracted. So we've got a whole day dedicated to working with the other things and other people in our lives that we allow to distract us. And we're going to be looking at what I was just showing you, the drama triangle, and actually doing a lot of work around healing our own energy patterns, the connections that we have with other people, the relationships we have with important people in our lives, and some of the things that might have hurt us that other people have done to us in the past. So a whole day working on that and aligning you to the future that you want to have. And then day 3 is a whole day focused on your passion, your purpose, working on your money, because I know some people might have resistances to money, and allowing abundance and wealth into their life. So we're going to work on your money story. We're going to work on the big beliefs that are standing in your way. A whole day focused around really helping you step forward into your future and the life that you really want to live. So the list is kind of endless because the workshops always differ. Even though we're going to come with a structure, and these are all the things that I know we're going to share, the beauty of being at the workshop is that you get your question answered. Whether it's by me live on stage, whether it's with our amazing team of mentors who are going to be working with you on your tables in small groups, or if you're joining us on the live stream, you've still got your mentors there who are going to be working with you. And we're basically going to be doing, like we've just done for the last 20 minutes, half an hour, actually doing the work. Not just with me leading you from the front of the room, but we've got workshop space there. We've got your group mentors on the table. We've got support mentors in the room to help and support as well. It really is there and designed to help you change your life and really understand how to use EAM in all of the ways that you can start approaching it. Because I want, if you remember back to the beginning of the call, those of you who've been here since the beginning, I really want to make sure that 2019 is a freaking epic year for you. Now, you can join us, visit that URL, www.ultimateselfhelplive.com. Join us before the 8th of January because the training starts on the 9th. If you really can't join before the 9th, it's fine. The calls are going to be recorded and you can still join us, but I really want you to kind of get started and be up to speed. And there are going to be some additional training videos for you to watch as well, just to understand some of the basic concepts behind EAM before we get to the event, so that we can really start doing some more of the high level work when we're actually there. So any questions you've got about joining us, about coming onto the event, please do let me know. Send us an email. One of the team can give you a call. We are here, we're ready, we're back, officially back from Christmas on Monday, even though I've been kind of around for the last week. But the training, where is the training on the 9th? It will be online, yes. So the 2 calls before the event and the 2 calls after the event are going to be online, and it's going to be just like this. So probably a bit more structured, and I will actually have my flip chart before the call starts. But we're going to be doing, it's kind of that hot seat bit where we're going to make sure that you're able to get started on doing the work. So your book is fabulous, says Tracy. Thank you, darling. Do I need to read the book before the event? No, Claire, no, you don't need to read the book before the event. But this is kind of your Bible for life. Even if you sat and read the book all before the event, it still won't go in, because what you need and what you get from being at the event is actually the experience of doing it. And you've got our amazing team there with you and the power of them, working with them, is that they're going to ask questions that you would never even know or think to ask, because they've spent 18 months training with me on how to do this. So, you know, they're going to take you to places that I can't possibly share with you in the book. I can't even share with you in the room, because they'll be specifically there with you, tapping into what's been going on with you, and they'll be able to work on whatever those things are that are holding you back and point you in the right direction. So any very, I feel very hungry, says Dominic. You hungry? Who's hungry? I'm hungry. I'm actually quite hungry now. But anyway, with all of that said, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you for sticking around till the end. I really hope to see you at the 3-day coming up at the end of this month. And if you can't be there for the whole 3 days, talk to us, because you might be able to join us for just the 2 days and catch up on the recordings. And like, I know people have got a lot of stuff going on, but you can tune in from home on the live stream as well. So get yourself booked in. We've made it as easy as possible with a 3-part pay. I really look forward to seeing you there. If I can't attend the event but want to work with a mentor, where do I find one, says Camilla. Send us an email and we will speak to you and get you booked in for a one-to-one with one of our amazing team, because they're brilliant. They're really good. Anyway, huge love. Yeah, send an email to hello@energyalignmentmethod.com. Or if you're watching on Facebook, you can always just send us a messenger on our Facebook page as well. We're always there. Love you guys. Thank you for spending 2 hours with me. I do get a bit carried away when I'm teaching, so thank you for your time and your patience, but I've got so much to impart. This is basically what our events are about over the 3 days. It's just 3 days of me going, well, to you. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I was supposed to be on another call 10 minutes ago, but hey, they'll just have to wait for me now. Night, night, all. Thank you. See you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.